Hey guys, welcome back to the Charles and Charge Cowboys Sports Report. Just touching on a few topics here. It is January 23rd. I believe the last divisional round game is going on right now. Tampa fell to the Rams. I was very surprised. Matthew Stafford hadn't won a playoff game his whole career. This season he's won two. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady almost had an amazing comeback, but they left too much time on the clock. I knew that. 42 seconds in a timeout. But yesterday, seeing San Francisco go into the frozen tundra, and it was frozen with snow, and shut down Aaron Rodgers and that Packers offense and beat them 13-10. Makes me not feel as bad as I did with our loss to the Niners. Because whenever we drew them, I thought they were the easiest draw we could have gotten between them, Arizona, and the Rams. Turns out they were actually probably the toughest, because I see them dismantling the Rams in the championship game at SoFi. They are very physical, the real deal. The big bully. They started 3-5 like we did in 2018, but they got their shit together, and they're a tough team. The Packers had an opening drive touchdown to open up the game, and that was it. They have a field goal after that. Second half, 58 total yards. So at least we were able to put up 17 on them, opposed to 10. They only scored 13 against Green Bay. They did put up 23 against us. So I would say both losses are pretty much even. But if they can go into the number one seed into Lambeau, as good as Green Bay is, and beat them, then I don't feel as bad about the loss. If the Niners would have went to Lambeau and just got waxed, it would have made it worse. But so we got a little bit more mature and a little bit more growing to do. Now, one thing I think is interesting is Sean Payton has not committed to returning to the Saints yet. Now, to say some wild case scenario, because I know Jerry Jones right now is doing a lot of thinking. He's tearing for a reason. He's buying time. Mike McCarthy is not safe by any means at this moment. There's no guarantee that he's our head coach for 2022, and I pray to God that he's not. Biggest joker in the NFL. Let's see the pros. Getting Sean Payton, he'd be one of the top head coaches in the league. He'd be a terrific play caller and run our offense to its potential, and it has a lot of potential, especially if we move a few pieces around. We can make our offensive line a hell of a lot better without actually having to get somebody. If they move certain guys around, if they put Terrence Steele at right tackle, move Lyle Collins to left guard, and put Connor McGovern at center. He's played plenty of center in college. He's bigger than Biadash, and Lyle Collins is a lot bigger, meaner, and nastier than Connor Williams ever was. And when we brought Lyle Collins in 2016, it was to play guard. Only after, what was that white guy's name? He was our right tackle. He was like the weak link. I can't believe it's going to be so hard to remember his name. Number 79, I think, or 69. After he retired, he retired after the 2017 season. Then we had to look for right tackle. And we were drafting guards, so figured move Lyle to right tackle. But after missing a season and a half and having a hip surgery, he doesn't move like he used to. He was a great right tackle in 2018, 2019, but he's not anymore. Put him back to left guard at his natural position so he can play in between Ty Smith and Connor McGovern. I think Connor McGovern could be a pretty good center. So you'd have Ty Smith Lyle Collins, Connor McGovern, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele, who is a very good right tackle. And then we could have a formidable offensive line, a top 5 offensive line, without having to go out and spend money. I mean, that just makes sense to me. Now, for defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, he's flying to New York to talk about the Giants, their head coaching position. I pray that he does not depart after just one season. I mean, people on the defensive side of the ball have been benefiting from us. Robert Quinn comes in 2019, one season, resurrects his career, and gets a big contract for the Bears. Aldon Smith comes in after, 6 years not playing ball. We give him a shot. He has a good season, and then he gets money, a decent bag, and goes somewhere else. Dan Quinn gets fired as head coach, comes here as defensive coordinator for one season, and now he's a made man again. He should at least give us two seasons for making him defensive coordinator as soon as he got fired. And I believe Dan Quinn, by season 2, which is this next season coming up, can have this defense top 5, shut down, quality defense, especially through a good draft and maybe a good free agent pickup or two, like a good safety or DB, like J-Ron Curse. If Dan Quinn goes somewhere as head coach, I think J-Ron Curse is going to go where he goes, because I think J-Ron Curse is a good player, but I think he plays really good in Dan Quinn's system, or Dan Quinn knows how to utilize him best. So if we brought in another defensive coordinator, maybe J-Ron Curse doesn't play to the height that he played to this season. But if we can get Dan Quinn to stay another year, and even if that means firing Mike McCarthy or demoting him to offensive consultant or whatnot and making Dan Quinn head coach, do it. Because he is the brightest mind on our staff. Kellen Moore, he could come or go. That's not really a big issue for me. Now, what Sean Payton might do is take a year off. And what Ian Rappaport said was that he's unlikely to coach a different team in 22, rather be a mini retirement and recharge a year. Take off this next season, not coach another team or the Saints, and just retire for a year to recharge. After people close to him described him as incredibly challenging and difficult after this last season. So a year off to recharge and rest, and then he can come out of retirement. If this scenario, his era would be over in New Orleans, and he'd be expected to be with a different team once he comes out of retirement in 2023. So Dan Quinn, stay one more season. Let's make him the head coach. By then, especially if we go far deep into the playoffs, he'll definitely have head coaching offers everywhere. And if Sean Payton comes out of retirement after a 1-year rest, I'm sure, as familiar as he is with his team and been with his team early on before he got his big start with the Saints, wouldn't you love to have him for 2023? That would extend our window, because right now I believe our window is 3 to 4 more years of a great roster, because we are a young team. So just Dan Quinn stays. Kellen Moore can go wherever he wants, or he can stay, whatever. If he leaves, we can get a better offensive coordinator. Unless he can just come up, with some new stuff, because it seems like the NFL's caught up with what he does. But the Niners beat Green Bay 13-10. So our loss doesn't look as bad. It doesn't look like we choked. Mike McCarthy saying that the players were nervous before the game in his end-of-season press conference. What the hell was that? Why would you be nervous before the game? You're the number 3 seed. You're the home team hosting the number 6 seed. And you have ranked the number 1 offense in the NFL. You score the most points in the league, and you're number 1 in turnover differential. Why would you be nervous? As a head coach, it's because you don't have your team prepared. I couldn't believe he said that. I mean, he incriminates himself in his own press conferences. Jerry Jones is doing a lot of thinking right now, and if he brings McCarthy back for another season, he is a fool. Y'all know the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. That's what Jerry's doing. And what somebody told me today, which really bothered me, but it's the truth, Jerry Jones' biggest fear is that they're going to win and he was not going to get the credit. That he would rather be subpar, have a subpar season, maybe a playoff season, win a playoff game, get to the second round, lose, but get the credit for that year, opposed to winning our 6th Lombardi trophy and not getting the credit. That is just stupid. Jerry Jones needs to take a step back and let the professionals do what they do. Back in the 90s, whenever Jimmy Johnson was the head coach, Jerry Jones said he could coach the shit out of this team. Also, Jerry Jones actually believed he could do what Jimmy was doing if he didn't have to do what he was doing as an owner. That's delusional. He's turning 80 this year. 80. And once you hit 80, you start declining pretty quick. So he needs to really look in the mirror and start making decisions. You know, now if we do lose Dan Quinn, Mike Zimmer, he was, I didn't know he was with us for this long, but Mike Zimmer was with us from 1994 to 2006. He was with us for 12 seasons. I did not know that. That was a long damn time. So he was with us on the back half of that dynasty. If we do lose Dan Quinn, I wouldn't mind Mike Zimmer coming in. I mean, he's always had good defenses. He's a familiar face. And, you know, being a fired head coach, defensive coordinator worked good for Dan Quinn. The cons on that is the end of his time in Minnesota was pretty horrible. And I don't know, maybe the modern NFL has passed him up. We don't know that for sure yet. Just a few signs of that. And he's got a lot of nepotism with his son. He made him co-defensive coordinator with him. You can't play favorites with family, especially in a sport like this. But D'Amico Ryans, that guy has got skill because the Niners do have a good front seven. They have no secondary, but yet they are just mauling people up front, shutting them down. I wouldn't mind if we lose Quinn, giving D'Amico Ryans a call. I remember when he was a rookie for the Texans, the linebacker. It was back in like 07 or whatnot. He had a good career. Now it's looking like he's a pretty damn good defensive coordinator. I'd give him a call too. But any other things I wanted to kind of just touch on? It's the off season. It's the playoffs. Only 2 more playoff rounds, and it's over. Everybody's back to 0-0. My prediction is the Niners are going to win it because the last 4 times the Cowboys and Niners played in the playoffs, the winner went on to win the Super Bowl. And San Fran looks like they have what it takes. Defense wins championships, and they do have a defense with a great defensive mind that's making that happen. But touch on Sean Payton, Mike Zimmer. Yeah. And also Vic Fangio, Brian Flores. There's some good names out there. But just hope for Dan Quinn to stay. Because one season with us, he made our defense really good. 2 seasons with us, he can make our defense great. And defense wins championships. And if we can have just an offense that can just show up every game and at least put up 28, our defense can handle the rest. Because you allow 23 in a playoff game, you should win that, especially with all the firepower you have. And we need to keep Amari Cooper. Quit that Amari Cooper release talk. It's the way that the plays are being drawn up. It's the way he's been utilized. He's worth every penny of it. Restructure his deal. I'm sure he wouldn't be opposed to it. He likes it here. He likes to play for the Cowboys. And they always roll coverage to his side. He does his job. I know he wasn't vaccinated. I know he didn't play in the Kansas City or the Raider game. That really hurt us. That could have maybe got us a 1 seed. But, that was that. That was in. This new season's coming up. Hopefully COVID won't be that much of a factor in this new season. And if Aaron Rodgers doesn't return to Green Bay this next season, the number 1 seed will be ours for the taking. Because maybe Tom Brady comes back for another year. The Rams will be there. It'll probably be a 3-show race with 2 teams that just come out of nowhere that are good in the NFC. But yeah, that's about it for now. Don't feel too bad about the loss. The Niners have the eye of the tiger right now. And if you can go to Dallas, knock off Dallas, go to Green Bay, knock off Green Bay, you're starting to look like the 07 Giants, who had a great defense that year. So, yeah, if we lose Quinn, I'd like to get Mike Zimmer or D'Amico Ryans or Vic Fangio as DC. And hopefully we can do some of this head coaching situation. But, guys, please subscribe, like, share. Since Tampa lost, Jalen Darden, who plays for them, he's their 4th-round rookie, should be coming home sometime this week. Him, Ty Summers, since they lost, he should be coming home this week. He goes to my church. Jalen Darden, his cousins live right next door to me. He comes over all the time. Ty Summers, the linebacker for the Packers. I can get him on my show. I have a studio, access to a studio. And Xavier Howard lives around the corner. And Jalen Darden said he could probably get a couple other guys to come in studio. And what we do is basically just talk about football and the NFL in general and this upcoming season. I'm going to be, biased on the Cowboys. Of course, Jalen probably for Tampa. Ty Summers, he'd probably be biased with his Packers, but, discuss this next season and what we think is going to happen. So that's it for today, guys. 2 more rounds of the playoffs, and the misery's over. And then it's everybody 0-0 again. We get to look forward to the draft, free agency, and hopefully we make some big moves. Hopefully we can get a big-time safety like a Justin Simmons or a Mika Fitzpatrick. Hopefully our 1st-round pick is a freaking monster like this one was. And our 2nd-round pick also like a Trayvon Diggs. And just, I'm excited. I'm excited for this all season. Football never stops, guys. It never sleeps. Please subscribe, like, share, all that. I'm trying to grow this. I started at mid-season. I've been a fan since Super Bowl 28 versus Buffalo when we beat them 30-13. I was 6 years old. I've bled blue ever since. Don't know why. When I watched that game, I just fell in love with the star and been diehard ever since. So, yeah, that's that, guys. Enjoy y'all Sunday. It's going to be a good year this year. And I think this next season will be close to a breakthrough, the breakthrough that we've been waiting for a long time. We have a very young team, and we're going to get better this offseason. Charles and Charge is out.